the 3rd edition re-release. New oldhammer, a reason to be optimistic or a reason to be pessimistic? Let's get into it. So for those of you not in the know, Games Workshop have just kind of re-released the 3rd edition box set, or the models for it anyway. So it consists of a tactical squad, land speeder, and their Dark Eldar counterparts. Now, on the surface, this seems like a great thing, but you know, when you think about it a little bit more, maybe there are reasons to be a little bit more cynical, which we'll get into later. Now, I can already hear some of my Oldhammer fans saying, Garth, this is not Oldhammer. How dare you? And they're furiously writing it in the comments. Now, I'll let you guys discuss that in the comments. Now, I would actually say, I think early 3rd edition could still be counted as Oldhammer as opposed to Middlehammer. I think the models still have that sort of 2nd edition-y feeling at the beginning of the run. And also, you know, there was still that kind of same atmosphere there that we've unfortunately lost in later editions. The rules, not going to discuss those. We're talking about the models themselves. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is 3rd edition Oldhammer or not? Right, so let's move on. So what are we going to discuss here? So we're going to talk about the good and the bad things. Now, we'll go for the bad later. We'll start with the good, because everyone wants to hear somebody moan on the internet about 40k, don't they? Isn't that the new in thing? So, the good things. Now, on the surface, this seems like a great move by Games Workshop, right? On the surface, it feels like a great thing to do. Why wouldn't you want to re-release some old models, right? That's great. So this is great for people who perhaps didn't get a chance to get these models first time round, people who don't want to spend ages trawling through eBay and cleaning up models and stuff. That's all good stuff. Now, what I think this is kind of pandering to, and again, I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, is that there does seem to be, on YouTube at the moment, there does seem to be a kind of Oldhammer fad. A quick cursory glance at, you know, some of the big channels, and you will notice that there have been a lot of Oldhammer videos. Now, I think more Oldhammer is a good thing for me. And like I said, on the surface, that seems like a good thing, right? And to me, this seems like Games Workshop is kind of pandering for that crowd, maybe giving them something to sink their teeth into a little bit, right? Another good thing about this is, both good and bad, I live in the UK. Or I'm temporarily living in the UK, I should say, at the moment. Now, I've got to remember that I am from the country of Warhammer. Warhammer was here. Second-hand markets are awash with models like this, right? I can get them from eBay. I can get them from Facebook Marketplace. I can get them from car boot sales, right? It is not hard for me to pick up these models, which I'll discuss in the bad later. But for people who don't live in the Warhammer homeland, then this is a good thing, because it means that they can get the models a lot easier, right? I mean, like I said, I can just check on eBay and get these for like a few quid. But for people who don't have access to such a huge second-hand market, this can only be a good thing. The models themselves, again, I think these Space Marines are pretty awesome. Pretty cool. They are quintessentially Space Marine, you know, they're not Primaris. And I think this kit, GW really got it right. You know, there's enough different arms and posability there, and I think the models are detailed, you know, and like I said, I mean, I think this particular kit is amazing. Land Speeder, not so much. I'm a big fan of the second edition Land Speeder, is my favourite. I've never really liked this version of the Land Speeder, but, you know, that's a personal choice, isn't it? The Dark Eldar, I think, are still pretty cool. However, I would say that these guys have perhaps aged not as well as the Space Marines, but they are still really cool, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes less is more, right? So these are all good things so far. These are all really good things. Now, the bad, right? Well, before we go to the bad, I should say one other good thing is that, fingers crossed, this is a sign of things to come, and that maybe GW are testing the waters with some of their old hammer kits, and, you know, they're going to re-release some more. I mean, that would be good, wouldn't it? I mean, imagine if they re-released the Mark 1 Land Raider or RTB 01s. Now, that would be a scalper's nightmare, but, you know, as a hobbyist and an old hammer fan, that'd be great. Now, let's move on to the bad, shall we? But before we do move on to the bad, just want to say big thank you to all my Patreons. Going to flash the name up on the screen now. Thanks a lot, chaps, for supporting the channel. And anyone who does want to support the channel, obviously Patreon links are below. There is another way you can do it. If you don't want to pay full whack for your GW models and your hobby supplies, why not check out my Element Games link, which is also down there. 10 to 25% off all the major brands of paints, brushes, Games Workshop, X-Wing, D&D, you name it, they've got it. Check that out. Use my code. I get a little bit of a kickback, and you get cheaper hobby supplies. I mean, everyone's happy. So let's hit the bad stuff now. So one bad thing is the price. Not surprising. With modern Games Workshop, I think this, especially for someone in the UK, this set is very overpriced. At £60, that's very, very overpriced, because the second-hand market is full of these models already. You could buy them new from eBay potentially for a few quid. So let's have a look and just prove my point. Right, so these guys, they're not new, but we've got the whole squad here of tacticals, including the heroes, the missile launcher, and the special weapons. These are pre-primed, but they wouldn't take too much to clear up. Now, I believe these are the same models. They might not be. If they're not, they're not. I mean, these guys, however, are definitely the same models. Let's see these ones here. These are definitely from the same set. And right there in the front, we've got a flamer, a melter. We've got the two sergeants or captains, whatever you want to call them there. And like I said, so they wouldn't take too much to clean up. Bit of meths, they'd be done. A few minutes. Or if you want to spend loads of money, you could get yourself some of that bio strip, couldn't you? If you want to know how I strip my minis, I'm going to put a link up there. How I strip plastic minis. But yeah, so 25 quid and you're going to get 20 for that. That's less than half the price of the set. So if we look at the Dark Eldar, there we go. There's a set there, £5, new on sprue. So I think this set is less appealing to someone in the UK. It's missing the heroes, chainsaw bloke, and the special weapons. It is also missing the quintessential palm trees, which anyone who is into the hobby will remember these bloody palm trees because they were absolutely everywhere. So this set originally came with some scenery. So the scenery's missing, the heroes are missing. You can get this for much cheaper second-hand. Much, much cheaper second-hand and even second-hand new. That's one bad thing. Another bad thing is this is a limited run. Why make it a limited run? Like I said, the hopes are that, you know, GW are testing the waters. How many people would be interested in some old hammer? But I'm going to be honest, the skeptic in me So they say they're reprinting these models. Now, the skeptic in me says they've just found a load of these laying around in the warehouse somewhere and are just trying to flog them. That's what I reckon. I reckon they might, they might make some new ones, but I reckon that somebody has been looking around in the Games Workshop dungeon somewhere and found, dusted off a bunch of boxes and go, oh, mate, we've still got a load of these 3rd editions. Do you reckon we could flog them? Yeah, we'll just flog them to the neckbeards for fucking 60 quid, mate. That's what I think. So what else is bad about this? Is it just pandering to people like me? I don't know. I mean, like, is it just pandering to some people say, oh, Games Workshop, man, they don't support the legacy games and, like, discontinued models. They just want you to buy the new stuff. Is this Games Workshop just sort of making a little piecemeal gesture to us? Again, this is me being cynical, and these are the bad things, right? So I am not convinced by Games Workshop's offering here. So to conclude, optimistically, this is a good thing. People in the UK, not such a great thing because you can get these models really cheap anyway. But people abroad, or people who just can't be bothered to clean up models from eBay and stuff like that, this would be a good thing, right? You get your hand on some old models. The bad things are it's missing some crucial models. And when I say crucial, I mean crucial. I mean, it's just a tactical squad of bolters. There's no heroes or anything. There's no special weapons, no missile launcher, no nothing like that. That's not cool. Other bad things are, I just don't have any faith in you, GW, I'm afraid. So that's that. And if you like this video, give it a like. And if you really liked it, why not give a subscribe or come and check me out on Twitch. Latest, chaps.